Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMtrading. Today is February 18th, 2021, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the highlights of today, the technology sector sells off. There's no major economic events scheduled for today, but as the week continues, we have a stream of some important corporate earnings coming out, including Walmart, NVIDIA Technologies, Applied Materials, and Intuit. So this is actually going to extend itself into next week. Now, looking at the various markets, starting out with the currencies, the dollar continues its modest gains versus the major pairs, while we're looking at the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ actually waver after retreating. In terms of commodities, gold still sitting on support where oil retraces but still remains strong. In terms of the stocks, they are a mixed bag. Apple led the way further down yesterday. And lastly, looking at Bitcoin, just trading at 51,000 and really unchanged. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're going to take a look here at the Euro USD initially, and you can see pretty much that this is really like a yo-yo kind of situation, where we're trading up to this 21.43 and then retracing down to 120.40-ish level, which is a 100 pip move, okay? But all intents and purposes, it's not trading in a trend, okay? That has been deceased since GBP broke that the other day. GBP just wavering here on a weekly chart. You could see that. And so for all intents and purposes, we have retreated from our highs of 139.46 down to 138.51, which is a 100 pip retracement both for the euro and the GBP versus the USD. So interestingly enough, you know, we know that the euro doesn't trade as aggressively as the GBP, and it yet still sold off 100 pips, which means that it's weaker versus the dollar than the GBP is versus the dollar. So, you know, while all intents and purposes, we're still in an upwards trend line. Okay, here on a 4-hour chart, we're actually breaking it. But if we look at a daily, we're still somewhat of a upwards trend line, although we are sitting on that 8-day moving average. Okay, so that's an important factor right there. So, you know, I do expect it to bounce off of this. All right, it may continue to trade sideways and consolidate if it doesn't take it higher. Now, looking at the commodities, gold sitting on support at this 1783, not budging higher, but not budging lower either. Okay, so maybe today will be a decisive day whether or not we'll break this support. And if we do, we could see a correction back to the 1700-ish level. Now, looking at oil. Now, we did retrace a little bit yesterday, okay, but nothing really to write home about. I mean, we're hitting all-time highs at $62 a barrel. Okay, we gained another dollar in the past week, so a nice little extended rally there. Now, looking at the Dow Jones, all right, this has been somewhat of a roller coaster ride between the last couple of days, just because it's been trading within this very tight range between 31,600 and 31,300, and we're really smack in the middle of that right now. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, this is really trading sideways and not giving it much of a direction. Now, if you look, all right, it's really on a very tight range and with tight volume, okay, which kind of means that people are digesting some of the information that we're standing in right now. Now, the markets might not retrace, but they might not take it much higher either. So something to consider going into today's trading session, as this is making a little bit of a correctional move. Now, the NASDAQ did sell a little bit more aggressively. So looking here at the NASDAQ at 13,641, not getting that bounce like we're getting it in the Dow Jones. So interestingly enough, it's now wavered. So the question is, will the Dow Jones catch up to the NASDAQ later today? That's really something to look at later today. Now, looking at Apple, this is the one that really broke it, trading below $130 a share. Okay, now this is really important because this is leading the way further down, as this has been somewhat of a support level or previous resistance level, as well as we've made that channel at this 128. Okay, so this is really a very important level for the price of Apple. Now, looking at the other big techs, nothing really doing. Looking at Amazon, it's still remaining kind of strong here at 1330. If we look at Microsoft as well, relatively strong at 243. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, all right, this has been really the play of the week and still relatively strong, trading at 52,000 after it hit its highs okay, above that 51,000. So it is trading closer to its resistance-ish level, making that new highs. But remember, this thing could take a sell-off on a dime just because it's at its all-time highs, just breaking that resistance-ish level of 50,000. So it's a little bit hard to say to kind of chase this. You probably want to look at the 8-day moving average a little bit more closely if you're trading it day to day, okay, as it sustains it. Now on a 4-hour chart, you could see that we're trading above the 8-day moving average, so relatively still strong. But if we do breach that, that's something to consider as today unfolds. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.